All right, so I've spent the last I've spent the last God knows how many hours working on this working on this number generator for Overwatch loot boxes, and I think I have it down, but there's a lot of calculations that are not entirely correct. So this is my code. There's a lot. It's a lot of it is repetitive, but they're all based on my own kind of calculations. For example, the probability of getting a common item base probability is 0.8, which is 80%. A rare would be 16%, an epic would be 3.2%, and a legendary would be 0.64%. I did that by calculating fifths of just fifths. Everything's done in 1/5 because it seems like a trend within Blizzard. The duplicate items are 1/5 of the value of the item, and I actually have that calculated in here. The cost, the credits, and the duplicate all are about the same. Credits means that if you get a common and that common is a credits, like opening a box and there's a credits, then you will get 15 credits. You'll get 50 credits for a rare, 150 for an epic, and 500 for a legendary. And then after all of that is done, I have a total amount of credits for everything in the store. This is based on previous calculations done by other people. I mostly just the amount of items that there are. For example, there's 418 common items, 305 rare items, 203 epic items, 244 legendary items. And I'm 100% sure that the legendary items is accurate to a very close amount. I can't remember exactly how I derived these numbers, but the commons amount is also very accurate. The amount of heroes there are in the game times the amount of possible commons you can get from opening a box, or the amount of the amount of commons you can get from opening a box. That doesn't include achievement sprays, because you can't get an achievement spray from opening a box. You have to unlock the achievement, of course. I have the algorithm for Blizzard, which they verified existed. This is a very weird idea, and I think I have it somewhat correct in the way that I did it. So basically, their algorithm calculates how many times you've opened a box, and it increases your chance of getting this other kind of item based on how many times you've opened a box. So say you open a box, you don't get a legendary. The next time you open a box, you have a higher chance of getting a legendary. And that is actually, I assumed that it would be increased by double the chance, essentially, which isn't exactly, there's no reason that it should be that way, but the numbers are way too high. They seem like they're way too high if it isn't double the chance. So I do have it double the chance. And for every box you open, you're guaranteed a rare out of them. So this is what this is for. There's guaranteed a rare out of the items there's guaranteed a rare out of the items in that box. So we multiply the probabilities at the same rates that we derived them from. We just multiply them by 5, so that way rare then becomes the same chance as getting a common, and then an epic becomes the same chance as getting a rare, and the legendary becomes the same chance as getting an epic. Which works because as soon as you get down to here, it makes sure that you get the rare item, and the random number generator generates a number between 0 and 1. 0 being inclusive, 1 being exclusive. So that's why I have these greater than or equal to values. When I equals 4, which is the 5th item it opens from the box, it will definitely give you a rare item if you didn't roll a epic item or a legendary item from these previous rates. And then every time you unbox a box, it increases the multiplier by 1, just by 1. And that increases your chance of getting the item. So if you don't get a rare, which is impossible, you will get a rare from every box, but say somehow you don't, this is a bad example. So let's say you don't get an epic item. You don't get an epic item from a box. It would then increase your chances of getting an epic item by twice the amount. So it's 3.2% chance to get an epic item. It would then be a 6.4% chance to get an epic item from all of the items in the box. So out of the 5 items, 1 of them will be guaranteed a rare, but the 4 items there are all basically the same. They're all the same probability within the same box. So if you open the box with a legendary probability of say 6%, all 4 of those items have a 6% chance to get a legendary. And then the 4th item, which would be a guaranteed rare, is then increased by 5 times the chance to get a legendary item. So instead of 6%, it would be a 30% chance that you get the item, which does seem very probable. In the amount of boxes that I've opened so far, I have gotten a lot of legendaries, for lack of better hyperbole. So this is the function. You open a box and it returns the amount of credits that you got from that box. Everything's calculated for the total amount of credits, so you get the amount of credits, the achieved credits. Every time you open a box, it adds to the achieved credits, and it counts the amount of boxes by iterations. So every time you open a box, it's 1 iteration, and as soon as you get enough achieved credits, it subtracts it from the needed credits, and if it's less than 0, then you have gotten enough credits. You've gotten enough credits to buy everything in the store or what's left in the store. So if you say you only open a lot of boxes and every single box you open has a legendary item in it and they're all the same legendary, eventually the amount of duplicates you get it'll be 200 credits per duplicate you get, and it will add up over time and subtract it from the needed credits, which is what I calculated based on all of the items in the game. And if it is less than 0, then it tells you the amount of iterations it took and adds it to the total iterations. And if you run this thing 1,000 times like I will be doing, it will calculate the convergence in probability that it takes to get all of the amount of boxes to unlock every item in the game. And that's about it. For here, this is the common class. If you pause, you can read the class, but I don't think unless you program, you would want to do that. This is basically it. For all of these items, I have it go through the random number generator for the amount of items in that category of item. So a common item, for the amount of items in the commons, there's 418. I have it add 1, so that way if you roll that 1 out of the 418, you will get the credits of that common. You'll get the common credits, and that will be 15. I don't think that is correct, but it's basically the best I have, the best I've assumed. A lot of these things are assumed, so don't count me 100% accurate, but I feel like it's a very good estimate. The other people who have done estimates on the amount of items it takes, it seems like it's too little, because to unlock all those kinds of items, it would be really not a whole lot of game time. I already have 20 hours played. The game came out yesterday. Anyways, it does that. It gets the amount of, if it is that specific value, if it is that 1 in 419, then you will get the credits. Otherwise, if it's less than the amount of items that you have achieved, it counts as a duplicate, and if it's more than the items you have achieved, then it counts as getting the item. In probability, that works theoretically the same way, because say you have 1 in a 418 chance to get the same item, then if the number you roll between 1 and 418 is 1, or if it's less than 2, which is 1, then it will count as getting the duplicate because you have that one item. So if say you got the item number 380, the theoretical probability of getting that is still 1 out of 418, and that's why if you do the number less than the achieved, it will be the same as, basically, it'll be the same theoretical probability as rolling the item itself, that exact number. Because if you have 50% of the items unlocked, you have a 50% chance of getting the number that is a duplicate. Theoretically, you would have half of 418 out of 418, and that's what this does. Is it just counts up, makes it a lot easier for numbers, and it's a lot easier to read. And that's the same throughout all of these, throughout all of the item rarities. And that's about it. I'm going to run it now for 1,000 times, and we will see the convergence in probability for the iterations it took. Okay, so it ran 1,000 times, and the average came out to 1309. 1,309. It will be chances are it will take you around 1,309 boxes to open in order to unlock every item in the game, which is sensible when you take into account that an average game is 8 minutes. So if you do that math, it would be that many minutes, which is 174 hours. No, that was the wrong math. You get a box every level, and it takes approximately, on average, 11 games to level up. And then it's 8 minutes a game, and then divided by 60, it is 1,919 hours played, which is very sensible, considering that there's a lot of items in this game, and Blizzard does not want you to unlock them all within the first 20 hours of playing the game. So about 1,900 hours, 2,000 hours is where you should be at when you do finally unlock all of the items in the game. Keep in mind, it's not solely unlocking every item in the game. It is simply getting enough loot boxes in order to be able to purchase the rest of the items needed, on top of earning all the items, and you will eventually have all of the items in the game. And it, again, average is around 1,309 boxes to open. Thanks for watching.